Not all power comes from armies. Some of it comes from ideas. The Gupta Empire did not conquer as aggressively as the Mauryans. It did something else. It refined, it created, it calculated. Historians call it a golden age, not because it was perfect, but because it produced brilliance. The story begins in the 4th century CE. Northern India was divided again. Regional kingdoms, shifting alliances, constant competition. Then came Chandragupta I, not the Mauryan one, a different dynasty, a different moment. He formed strategic marriages, expanded influence carefully, laid foundations quietly. But the real expansion came under Samudragupta. He campaigned widely, across northern India, into the south. Inscriptions describe him as unstoppable, a warrior, a conqueror, a king of kings. But he did something clever. He did not directly annex every territory. Some were defeated, then restored as tributaries. They paid tribute, they acknowledged supremacy, they kept local control. It was flexible imperialism. The Gupta state was powerful, but not suffocating. After Samudragupta came Chandragupta II. Under him, stability deepened, trade expanded, urban centers thrived. This stability mattered, because stability allows thinking, and thinking flourished. In mathematics, something revolutionary happened. Indian scholars refined the concept of zero, not just as a placeholder, but as a number. That changes everything. Without zero, large calculations are clumsy. With zero, mathematics accelerates. Place value notation matured. Complex arithmetic became manageable. One name stands out: Aryabhata. He calculated the value of pi with surprising accuracy. He proposed that the Earth rotates on its axis. He explained lunar and solar eclipses scientifically. Not through myth, through observation, through mathematics. Astronomy was not separate from math. It was intertwined. Calendars improved. Planetary models advanced. These ideas would travel through trade, through translation, through cultural exchange. They would influence the Islamic Golden Age, later Europe. But the Guptas were not only about numbers. Literature blossomed. Sanskrit became a refined court language. Poetry reached new heights. One figure towers above the rest: Kalidasa. His plays and poems explored love, nature, duty, loss. His language was elegant, layered, musical. Works like Shakuntala traveled beyond India centuries later. They impressed European writers. They shaped perceptions of Indian literature. Art also evolved. Gupta sculpture is calm, balanced, graceful. Buddha statues from this period show serenity, soft features, gentle smiles, spiritual depth. Temples began to take clearer structural form. Early Hindu temple architecture developed key features. Religious life was dynamic. Hindu traditions strengthened. Buddhism continued. Jainism persisted. The state did not impose uniform belief. It supported a cultural ecosystem. Trade connected India outward. Roman coins had appeared in earlier centuries. Now, internal trade networks matured further. Guilds operated in cities. Merchants funded temples and public works. Gold coins from the Gupta period showed detailed artistry. Kings depicted as warriors, musicians, archers. The imagery projected confidence. Education also mattered. Centers of learning like Nalanda would later flourish in this intellectual climate. Scholars debated philosophy, logic, medicine. Texts in medicine built on earlier Ayurvedic traditions, surgery, herbal knowledge, diagnostics. The Guptas did not invent everything. They inherited, they refined, they systematized. That is often what golden ages are, not sudden sparks, but sustained illumination. So why call it a golden age? Because multiple fields advanced at once, because stability allowed creativity, because influence extended beyond borders. But we must be careful. Golden for whom? Rural life was still difficult. Agriculture depended on monsoons. Famine was possible. Social hierarchies were strong. Caste distinctions hardened in some ways. Women's status varied by region and class. Elite women sometimes had education, but patriarchy was present. No age is uniformly golden, yet compared to many eras, the Gupta period shines. Its political structure was less centralized than the Mauryans. Local rulers had autonomy. Land grants were given to officials and religious institutions. This created loyalty, but it also planted seeds of decentralization. As long as strong rulers held the center, the balance worked. But external pressures emerged. In the 5th century, the Huns invaded from the northwest. They disrupted trade. They weakened frontier stability. Internal fragmentation followed. Regional powers asserted independence. The imperial core shrank. By the late 6th century, the Gupta authority had faded. The Golden Age dimmed. Yet its intellectual legacy endured. The concept of zero did not vanish. Astronomical calculations did not disappear. Poetry continued to inspire. Later Indian dynasties built on Gupta foundations. So did civilizations far beyond India. When India ruled science, math, and culture, it did so with ink and insight. And those tools often travel further than armies ever can.